Angels and Demons is a mystery thriller novel written by Dan Brown in 2000. The novel introduced the character of the Professor Robert Langdon, also protagonist in the Da Vinci Code, best-selling novel of the American writer, written in 2003. Born in 1964, Dan Brown is one of the most popular authors of thriller fiction in recent years, but also one of the most discussed, above all for religious reasons, for which he received several criticisms from the American Catholic League. He was accused by two writers that he wrote the Da Vinci Code by copying their book, The Holy Blood and the Holy Grail. Brown was born and raised in New Hampshire, in a family where it was important to try to reconcile science and religion. He graduated in 1986 at Amherst College in Massachusetts. Later, he enrolled at the University of Seville in Spain to study art history. This is the period where he started to have a strong interest in the works of Leonardo da Vinci and in cryptography. Upon graduation, Dan Brown returned to the States and undertook a career as an English teacher. In 1995, together with his wife and under the name of Danielle Brown, he wrote a novel. In 1996, he quit his job as a teacher to become a full-time writer. Angels and Demons is full of recurring historical, artistic, religious references. It's a twist of sects, church, mysterious symbol codes, conspiracy, theories, faith, art, and science. With this novel, Dan Brown has managed to make discuss and divide, for better and for worse, but has certainly achieved the goal to be talked about with elements of history and religion, sometimes reaching absurd levels, but certainly involving and intriguing the reader until the very last word, giving us a novel full of suspense. Due to a repetitive but compelling style and easy to understand, even in the scientific and artistic references, the reader can imagine himself walking through the street of the Eternal City, to run in its wonderful monuments and walk the aisles of the extraordinary Roman churches. Not to mention that through this book, the reader has the possibility to enter into the Vatican rooms that are impossible to visit for ordinary people. The constant references to the Mensury, as well as historical figures such as Galileo and Bernini, even if not properly contextualized, intrigue the reader to study and to find out about these topics. The rhythm, more and more passionate and enchanting, makes every page full of surprises. Each page is a discovery of a corner of Rome, of one of its paintings, of one of its monuments. However, Dan Brown makes some important mistakes in some Italian expression and some places in Rome to increase the currency of the story. The plot talks about a symbology expert in Harvard University, Robert Langdon, who is contacted by the CERN director to investigate about a mysterious murder of a scientist whose body was branded with an ambergram that the professor will recognize to be linked to the cult of the Illuminati, a secret anti-religious sect founded on scientific ideals against religious obscurantism, considered extinguished for centuries. In addition to this murder, there is also the disappearance of a canister containing antimatter, a secret project created by the scientist and his adopted daughter Victoria, a small substance more powerful than a nuclear weapon. After receiving a call from the Vatican City in Italy, Robert and Victoria make their way to the Papal States, where he is going to play the conclave to elect the new pope. Meanwhile, the Illuminati claim the disappearance of the antimatter that is hidden in the Vatican City, kidnapped the four preferiti, the cardinals who are most likely to be elected pope, threatened to blow up the Vatican City and to kill and to brand with ambergrams of the four natural elements each cardinal in one of the churches of the path of illumination. The search of the cardinals will be long and complicated, characterized by consulting a historical document of Galileo. The verses of the famous Italian scientist and surprisingly, even some works by the Italian artist Bernini, located in the churches, will lead Robert and Vittoria to identify the various steps of the path of illumination and to find the four cardinals. It all ends with the explosion of the antimatter and the death of the four cardinals, but especially with the surprising revelation that the Camerlengo, the highest authority of the Catholic Church during the conclave, was responsible of planning the conspiracy to show the contrast between science and faith. After the huge success of the novel, in 2009, Angels and Demons premieres in theaters, directed by Ron Howard and starring Tom Hanks as Professor Langdon. The film, however, showed significant inaccuracies with the novel, which are easy to notice from the beginning for those who have read the book first. Starting from the creation of the antimatter. In the movie is made by a certain staff, when in fact in the book is only realized by Leonardo Vetra and his daughter Victoria, who in the movie are simply called leaks. These are significant differences for the history. Going forward, in the book, the Professor Langdon was called by the CERN director, completely absent in the movie, contrary to what happens in the movie, in which he is contacted personally by a Vatican emissary. In the book, the CERN director found the body of the scientist Vetra in his room, with his chest branded and without an eye. Instead, in the movie, Vittoria will find the body, crossing even the killer in the Swiss laboratory, event that is not even mentioned in the book. Other major inaccuracies continue throughout the movie, such as the absence of some characters. In the screen adaptation of the book written by Brown, in fact, the kidnapping of Vittoria Vetra by the killer in one of the churches of the Path of Illumination is not mentioned, and also a rescue thanks to the American professor in the Refugee of Illuminati, with the consequent death of the killer. Death that is different from book to movie. In the book, the killer was killed by Langdon and Vittoria, while in the movie dies to an explosion of a car bomb. Another significant difference is certainly the death of the third and last cardinal kidnapped, which occur in the fountain in Piazza Navona, unlike in the movie. Langdon succeeds to save the cardinal, which he will also be elected pope. In the novel, the Camerlengo, together with Robert Langdon, get in a helicopter to prevent that the antimatter blast in Vatican City. In the movie will go up only the Camerlengo, who then will jump down with a parachute. Surely the movie, despite the success at worldwide level, is not really relevant to the novel by Dan Brown. It follows the plot, but some important details in the twist of the story have been cut or modified. Due to all of these inaccuracies in the screen adaptation, the movie loses so much compared to the novel, making it a little disappointment for those who had previously been captured and charmed by the Brown book, but also making the movie difficult to understand for those who did not have the luck to read the novel first.